Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Not a ton of stuff to talk about here today because we've had a lot of news recently with the fan stream like about 2 weeks ago and all that kind of stuff, but we still have some stuff to talk about nonetheless, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. So first up for this week, we have Lightning Collection Wave 13 to talk about. So pretty much as we kind of expected to happen once it was starting to ship out from Big Bad Toy Store, and once Dino Charge Blue went up in stock on Amazon last week, which did actually end up shipping out. I got my Dino Charge Blue a couple of days ago, and the video review for him is going to be up on the channel this upcoming Monday, so you guys can stay tuned for that. But Wave 13 is now had its release dates moved up on both Hasbro Pulse and on regular Amazon. So Amazon has moved up its release dates to today, of the date that you're watching this episode, if you're watching it when it comes out, on Saturday, January 28th, and Hasbro Pulse has moved them up to January 31st, all from a March 1st release date. So Wave 13 should be relatively abundant online here pretty soon. When is it going to hit stores? Very good question. We still don't really know the answer to that one. Seemingly right now it's just kind of all over online retailers, and stores will probably get it eventually, but Wave 13, if you wanted to get it from all those retailers, you're going to be able to do so in the next week or so, or if you're expecting it in March, you can expect it now. So, of course, there will be Amazon affiliate links to all 4 members of Wave 13 in the description below. If you use those links, it will help out the channel if you order the figures using those. And like I said, my review of Dino Charge Blue is going to be up on Monday to finish off my Wave 13 reviews that I started back in like early December, because it's been a little bit of a time getting this entire wave, but now we finally can get it, and a lot of other people are going to be able to get it here now pretty soon. And speaking of releases, this was also kind of not very unexpected due to the fact of how early the Remastered Blue Ranger figure leaked because of this kind of thing, but the Remastered Blue Ranger figure and the Remastered Yellow Ranger figure have been released in Portugal, and I believe also in France, and I think there's some Belgium listings and stuff out there for them. So we kind of gotten to get a pretty good look at them so far. There was some Instagram videos out there doing like an entire unboxing and kind of a little review of them, which I'll be linking in the description below, and you're probably seeing some of it on the screen right now here as well. So these are still listed for a May 1st release here in the US. However, it's still the end of January here, so I would not be surprised if these get moved up a little bit more than 3.5 or 3, like I guess like 3 months basically from now. I'm sure we're gonna get them not that late. If we get these by like March or so, I'd say that's probably when to expect them. So if you were thinking May, we're probably going to get them earlier than that. That was just kind of probably their latest possible release dates, because things are starting to ship a little bit. Things are, I wouldn't say are returning to normal, and by normal I mean like 3 years ago, so it's been kind of a very hard time to remember what that normal was with shipping and actually following the pre-order dates, but as we can see, things are still kind of all over the place with when things actually release. So the remasters are out in Europe, all over the place over there, and I'm sure we're going to get them here soon-ish, but not May 1st late. We'll see. Next up for this week, we have a pretty interesting one here, so I guess I can talk about this now. But they kind of leaked it themselves. So there was this article that talked about Netflix, or it was from Netflix, talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always special. And people were pointing out that in there they listed kind of the whole cast of who's returning. So, you know, Rocky and Adam, Aisha, Kat, Billy, and all the stuff that we know. But at the end of the article, where it says that Barbara Goodson is returning as Rita, it says that she's going to be aided by familiar lackeys Minotaur, Snizzard, and the Putty Patrollers. So how is this important to Lightning Collection? Well, I quote tweeted this and said, oh, that makes something make a lot more sense now, and I'm sure you're probably figuring out what I mean by that. So, Snizzard, he was the most recent Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin monster to be released in Deluxe Wave 2. Putty Patrollers we've had for years, but Minotaur. So, yeah, I think I can say that Minotaur is the one that I had heard would be paired with Wild Force Red in what was supposed to be Deluxe Wave 3 or whatever a long time ago, and just never happened. And for months I've been saying another Mighty Morphin monster. Well, I've heard from like at least 2, I think maybe even 3 sources that Minotaur is happening in the Lightning Collection, and this makes a lot more sense now. This is what I was talking about, because I was always kind of wondering why. I'm still kind of wondering why, I don't know why he's returning for this special. I know that Snizzard has the whole Bryan Cranston connection. I think people said that Minotaur was the first monster blown up by the Power Blaster when the Rangers, of course, combined their weapons, which I think that is correct. So in that case, there's kind of a little bit of a significance with him, but I don't know exactly what the plan is here, if he's still going to be a deluxe figure. Well, he will be, but I don't know if he's going to be in a deluxe wave, is what I should have said. So I don't know if he's going to be in a deluxe wave still, because I don't know what's happening with the Wild Force Red thing that I've been hearing for like a year and a half, which I actually haven't heard much of in a year and a half, but Minotaur I've been hearing more of in the last year and a half. So that makes me think that at least he's happening, and especially with this, with the whole Netflix special confirmation thing, it definitely makes me think that he's happening. So I would just say, if you are expecting or wondering what the next Mighty Morphin monster is going to be in the Lightning Collection, expect it to be Minotaur, from as far as I know, and from what Netflix is kind of, not implied, because they didn't mention anything Lightning Collection here, but kind of connecting the dots here, things are starting to make a little bit more sense, and I think that I can share that information now, so there is that. For the final main story of the week, and speaking of sharing information, I was sent 7 brand new listings this past week that I want to share with all of you guys, which I already have on my Instagram and on my Twitter account at LightningFitPR, so of course follow those if you haven't, because if you have, you probably saw those listings or these listings back on Monday, but now we're going to talk about them here. So these come from the source Maximum Overdrive, which was quite interesting because usually for things like this, not necessarily for listings, but more for like regular main leaks where I actually know the character, the sources don't want to be credited because it can lead to them getting in trouble or just bad things, so usually that's why things are credited like that. But this one did want to be credited, so credit to Maximum Overdrive for these listings. So we have 3 that are standalone figures: F8211 PRG Landsborough, F8212 PRG Lake City, and F8214 PRG Leesport. So we're seemingly going into a codename system of cities. I think we've been kind of leaning towards that recently. I know like the Cobra Kai ones, I think, if I remember correctly, those ones are labeled under like cities in a specific state or something. It was a very weird thing. But seemingly no longer are the Canterbury Tale codes, which we've had since like 2021 stuff. We had been leaning more towards away from those, so I'm not surprised to see that. Now, these product numbers, the reason why I'm including everything with the product numbers is because, first of all, it backs them up more, because Hasbro product numbers are kind of something you can actually look for and find, and then once we get the actual proper name of the product, we can match it to the product numbers from the code and know which codes were which product all along if we never crack these, because these ones are pretty impossible to crack, because there's no way of knowing exactly what characters or figures these are. We just have proof that more figures are coming, basically, if that really means anything to anybody. But another reason why I'm posting these product numbers is that it seemingly is missing one. We don't have an F8213, which if we do, and we have a group of 4 here, it looks like we're possibly looking at a wave, because waves usually have sequential product numbers together in a group of 4. So this could be the codes for wave 15. Now, who is in wave 15? I really don't know. I've already leaked it to you guys. Characters like Turbo Red and RPM Yellow are coming. I think both of those are perfect candidates for wave 15, but I genuinely don't know exactly how those 2 characters are getting released. I just know that they are, so I don't exactly know how that's all going to work out here, but I would not be surprised if 2 of the 3 of these listings here, or maybe even 2 of the listings, including one that we maybe don't have yet here in this group, are probably those 2 characters, but I have no way of knowing that just yet. Now we also have the deluxe F8210, which is PRG DLX Oldsmar. So DLX Oldsmar here is going to be a deluxe character or a deluxe figure. As you can see here, it does come right before this group of standalone figures, which could potentially point to this being a wave. Maybe we have a deluxe wave, which would maybe be F8209, which we don't have yet, and then maybe this one below it or something, or maybe this is just a standalone deluxe. It could potentially be a match with that deluxe listing that I posted about from the Target system last weekend and I talked about in Lightning Storm last week. Maybe. I still don't know if that one's going to be a standalone Target exclusive, or if this one's going to be paired with those, and we just hadn't found the other one until now or something. So I have no idea what's going on with either one of those deluxe listings, but we have 2 more deluxe figures on the way. We also have 2 more remastered figure listings, F7391 and F7392, for PRG 30th Leicester and PRG 30th Lost Creek. So these ones actually include 30th in the name, which the other ones had not, but I'm very confident in saying that these 2 are remastered figures, which means we now have 3 waves of 2 pairings here. So we had Mayfield and Magna, then we discovered Leon and Meadow, and now we have Lester and Lost Creek. So while we had maybe speculated that all these were going to be in a group together, That's actually not the case. So I did some digging, and F7384, which was that first one after the ones that they had already revealed, is not a Power Rangers product at all. It's Play-Doh. So that defeats the idea of all these numbers being sequential in one big remastered lineup. So it looks like the remasters are kind of being grouped in pairings of two. So it looks like we have that first one, which I guess you could kind of call like a wave of remastered. Then I'm sure the other two listings we found will be the next two remastered that they announced, whichever two of those may be. And now we have two more. So as of right now, we have 6 listings for remastered. We had that artwork for Lord Zed, which points to a potential 7th one. But as of right now, I can only say for absolute certainty, we're going to get at least 6, the rest of the Mighty Morphin team. But I don't know if Zed is actually getting a remastered, if it's going to stop at 6, if we're even going to do the White Ranger. I have no idea, but expect at least the main 6, and now we have 6 listings to back that up. And then finally, we have a pretty interesting one here, which I listed under expensive items, and then in parentheses I put $150 plus roleplay, F7363 PRG Sun City. I don't know what this is. I genuinely do not know what it is. However, I do know that the price point is above $150, probably closer to $200, which would make it either the second most expensive Lightning Collection item ever, or pretty close to that. So right now, the title for the most expensive Lightning Collection item ever, at market price at least, is the $220 Power Sword that came out last year. So right now, I'd say the best candidates for this are either this is the listing for Zap Tigerzord, or this is a listing for a Power Bow. I don't know if we're getting a Power Bow. I really don't. I haven't heard that from any of my sources at all. But I would expect one though, since we have 3/5 of the weapons. I would expect that and the axe. The axe absolutely has to be more expensive than the sword, so there's no way it's going to be that, unless they really do something crazy to make that actually fit that price point, but I highly doubt it. So right now, it could be that, it could be the Power Bow, it could be absolutely nothing that we know about at all, which we don't know about a Power Bow, but it could be something like that. I see this is one of those things where it's like, I know it's an expensive item, which is one of the main reasons why I want to tell you about it right now, because basically expect a nearly $200 Lightning Collection item to be released sometime later this year, and I want you guys to be able to have enough time to prepare and set aside the money for that, but I don't know what it's going to be, so it might not even be something that you want. But I'm telling you about it anyway, and we're all going to find out what it is, hopefully not soon, but in the end, I just have these 7 listings to share with you that I don't know what any of them are yet technically, because we can kind of guess, but we can't be for sure until we get to see these products revealed. But we have the 3 regular figures, the 1 deluxe, the 2 remastered, and the very expensive item. So that's kind of like what I like to do here. Like I've always said on Lightning Storm, share the stuff with you when I can, so you guys can budget for it and prepare for certain items long before Hasbro is ever going to tell us about them. And then finally, to wrap up this episode, I wanted to do a little lightning strike of the week here because I love these videos and I'm really happy to see that it's finally out. So Soundout has posted his 2022 Power Rangers Lightning Collection rundown video, which just goes through all of the specific releases for a toy line for a year or an action figure line. He's already done one for G.I. Joe Classified and Marvel Legends, which were very, very good. And this is his Power Rangers Lightning Collection one. And he asked me, he was DMing me a couple questions about some of the releases a couple of weeks ago in preparation for this video, so I'm really excited to see it finally out here. And that thumbnail, I absolutely adore that thumbnail by Darklaw643 that just shows off, you know, the crazy problems with the Lunar Wolf Ranger and Time Force Blue and the Ninja Pink Ranger figure and Dino Fury Green. I love it. It's so good. I think I love that so much. It sums up the problems of the Lightning Collection in just one perfect thumbnail. It's an excellent, excellent thing to have for this. And I think these are absolutely great videos, so that would definitely be linked in the description below, so be sure to check that out from Soundout. He pours a lot of time into these videos, and they are very good. So I'm going to just keep saying that. He does them every year, but since the newest one just came out, I wanted to make sure I plugged it here on this week's episode of Lightning Storm. And with that, that's everything we have to talk about for this week. So of course, until next time, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below about anything I talked about this week on Lightning Storm. And of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningVicPR, and I'll see you all on Lightning Storm. The series where lightning always strikes twice. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brandon Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Dartley, Monster Rocket, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Brzezski, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, and Pyramidas. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, link in the description below.